Welcome in. This is episode 1 of the Stream ER podcast. I'm super excited. I got my boy Nate with me. What's going on, Nate? How you doing?
I'm good, Kimbro. How are you?
I'm good, brother. Super excited to start this journey with you and, dive right into these episodes and, hopefully start putting together a catalog of really nice clips and videos and podcast episodes that we all can benefit from as content creators and, figure out how to help people.
Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it. I think the people are ready.
I think they are too. It's been super fun. If you've been following our journey at all on social media, we've put out a teaser or two. We've sent out a tweet or two, getting everybody excited for these episodes. And I'm just really excited to be able to, take this part of the content creation journey and build upon it and doing it with you, man. I really appreciate your time and energy working on this with me.
Yeah, no problem at all. So, I guess we can start by just telling the people, why are we doing this?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I have to give all the credit to Nate. This was Nate's idea. He came to me with the idea and was like, look, let's sit down and have some conversations and talk about some things. And, it's something that I have a strong passion for. I've always been a part of the education process. My dad was a coach. I grew up doing some coaching throughout early college. I'm essentially an instructor, a coach of sorts in my professional life as an employee wellness coordinator. So helping people, put together the puzzle pieces and find the connections that make sense for them so that they can take them and run with them is something that I have a really strong passion for. And now that I'm sort of down this Twitch journey, it sort of just made so much sense. It made so much sense. So Nate, tell the people why you're interested in doing something like this.
Yeah, so my Twitch journey became available because of my wife, Riz.
Yeah.
So that's kind of interesting, but I kind of just jumped into it. I guess I wasn't really sure if I would enjoy it or, if she'd even be good at it, but we kind of just both jumped in. I'm kind of the tech guy.
Yeah.
But I've become friends with quite a few Twitch streamers around, including you.
Yeah.
It's a great community, but I also just wanted to share I guess some of my knowledge based upon kind of what I'm observing from some people within certain communities.
Mhm.
Not necessarily because they're doing it wrong, or I just kind of wanted different ideas because Twitch tends to be a little bit more of a condensed community, and there's not really a whole lot of branching out.
Yeah.
So I kind of just wanted to give my business insight, not necessarily just me, but a couple of the guests that I know who are extremely successful. I think can have a lot of good input and a lot of good insight within Twitch. So
I think it's such a unique perspective. You brought up the guests we're going to have on. I'm really looking forward to hearing them, especially because like you are, at least 1 degree of separation removed from being on the inside of this whole crazy Twitch mess or streaming mess. And I think that distance, that separation can be really insightful and really helpful. You kind of are going through it, without sort of jaded eyes, if you will. And that I think is really valuable.
yeah, I think, from when you usually grow up, you kind of just look to the people within people that you're used to and kind of try and copy them. Well,
Yeah.
once you get used to all these Twitch streamers and the way they do things, you kind of just want to copy them, and it may not be the right thing to do.
That
So
is, yeah, spot on.
grabbing these guests who are in not even close to Twitch, like they have nothing to do with Twitch.
Yeah.
They're just very successful people, and they kind of understand the mindset of things. I think can be super valuable for people.
I think you're all over it. And, excuse me, we talked a little bit about it, but, we talked about why we're doing this, a little bit about who we are. Specifically for me, if you're new to the podcast or you've stumbled upon it without finding me first, my name's Kimbro Plays on Twitch and YouTube. I'm a YouTube content creator, Twitch streamer. I've been streaming. We're recording this in January of 2021. I've been on Twitch for a little over a year and 2 months. So, I say that with a caveat and with a smile. Not all of this information is going to be applicable to everybody. There's no one way to skin a cat, to use that weird reference, right? There's so many different ways to do content creation, and there's no one right way. I think the whole goal, the whole overall idea is for us to sort of shed light, bring on guests, talk about what we've seen and observed that's worked and not worked, and just sort of offer up suggestions and ideas, specifically more towards the mindset and the approach that you should have towards content creation, as opposed to specifically here's what you should do to grow, or here's what you should do because we know this works and we're experts.
Yeah, that's a very good cautionary statement. We're not necessarily the experts, but we have been through a lot, and I think we've gained a ton of knowledge. We both, I guess you've been in a little bit longer than I have. I guess Risk started streaming in February of last year, so about a month in between.
Mm-hmm.
But I've learned a ton just by observing, and kind of coming at it through a non-streamer's eyes has kind of opened my mind into saying, "Hey, look at this a different way."
Mm-hmm.
Um, and because that helped me in my own business. I run a digital marketing company. I've been in it for 4 years, been self-employed for 4 years. Um, I guess you would call me halfway successful. I don't necessarily like to say that because we're still growing, but
Yeah.
uh, I've kind of built the life that I was looking for. Freedom of time, freedom, don't have to worry about bills or anything like that. And I think that's what a lot of people want, but there's a certain mindset that you have to take to get there.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't necessarily want to just project, do this, do this, do this. But I'm telling you, the people that we might have on, those are the type of people you need to listen to.
Yeah.
Like, I'm talking millions upon millions of dollars in revenue. If you can create that, you can create just about anything.
Yeah. And you spoke a lot about it, freedom in a variety of ways, right? Freedom financially, freedom from time. There's a lot of different goals and a lot of different ways that people would consider themselves successful, which we'll dive in today on the episode. But I think it's really important that you offer that up because we spoke offline before recording this episode about how oftentimes people are looking for that as a goal. They're not necessarily trying to only hit Twitch partner or do this full time, but maybe they just want to have this side hobby or this side income and not this become their second job, replace some income that they have lost throughout the pandemic, whatever it is. And it potentially, if done right, could help them achieve some of that freedom and achieve some of that mobility to be able to live a life that they were more hoping to envision.
Yeah. And I think success is different to any individual.
Mm-hmm.
Freedom of time, freedom of money is pretty well off known. But maybe you have a different goal. Maybe you just want to create some friends.
Yeah.
Like if you just want to build some online friends because I don't know, the pandemic hasn't let you get out and you can't see your own friends, so why not congregate with like-minded people?
Yeah.
Then that's your goal. We can help you achieve that for sure. But like you said, this podcast isn't going to be for everybody.
Yeah. Yep. So I really wanted to set the tone and sort of establish that for everybody. Like I said, from my perspective as a Twitch streamer, I'm not a Twitch partner. I would like to consider myself successful in my own personal ranking or threshold for what I consider successful. But I also know that that's not everyone's luxury. We talked a little bit about it. I have the luxury of having a full-time job, and Twitch is a second income, but I'm not dependent on putting food on the table for my family from Twitch. I get a chance to enjoy it from a different perspective, which is a nice thing to have, but it also is not necessarily the situation for everybody. So I think, in this first segment, we wanted to sort of lay the groundwork for what this podcast will be long-term, but also talking a little bit about success and the realities that may or may not come with this particular specific endeavor.
Right. I mean, I guess if we can just dive in, and I can throw some statistics out there.
Yeah.
This is a real statistic from the Small Business Administration, which we'll get into it later, but we see Twitch as a business, but also a hobby, and we can define those words later. But 90% of startup businesses don't make it to year 2. So That should put it into perspective. And Twitch is probably even a little bit more difficult than that. I have written down 99% of streamers aren't full time, which is probably around the mark.
Yeah.
Uh, what did you have for number of full time streamers? Did you have that stat?
I
I think
do.
earlier.
As of March of 2020, there were 41,100 Twitch partners. And I don't know that every Twitch partner is full time, but it's in around that ballpark that's how many Twitch partners there are, and that there are 3.8 million unique broadcasters, sort of on the platform. So that's right around that 95+% that you talked about that are not able to pursue this as a full-time career. It's the harsh but true reality.
Right. And I think we can put that in perspective because I think most of our listeners will be from the US. Only 23% of Twitch traffic is from the US.
That to me is an extremely surprising statistic. Had you told me that Twitch and the popularity of some of the biggest Twitch streamers that we're probably all familiar with at this point, if you stream on the platform, it's owned by an American company, and only 23% of the people who pull it up, at least on the desktop version, according to these statistics, only 23% come from the United States. I think that's really, really interesting and something that we should all be aware of as a streamer.
Yeah, that blows my mind, to be honest. I guess because we congregate in the more US type of community. Although I know you have followers from the UK and I know Riss has some followers from Ireland and the UK and all over there.
Yeah.
But you would think that, like you said, a US company would have the majority of viewers from the US.
Yeah, it's really shocking. And I don't know how the numbers change. The stats we have specifically reference Twitch desktop. I'm not sure how much the numbers skew or change relative to mobile users and things like that. But I do think it is important to just reference and be aware that there's a world on Twitch much larger than just the United States. And while that means more opportunity on the international scene, that also means there's going to be many more content creators. And as looking at it from a business perspective, more competition means we need to identify and understand and be even better honed in on what it is about our content that works and doesn't work, and be really in tune with that so that we can capitalize on potential viewers and make sure that we're not missing the mark on other viewers.
How about this one? 65% of Twitch users are male.
That it's weird. That feels on brand, but it also leaves a huge opportunity. It's a huge space that obviously males are the overwhelming majority. If you put it on paper and said that, I'm going to start a business that is video game streaming, you can probably assume that that's going to attract an overwhelming majority of male viewers. But as we talked about offline, I think an overwhelming majority transitioning are going to be females on the platform, whether that be broadcasters themselves or just casual viewers. That's something as a streamer we also need to be aware of. What does our branding look like? What does our content say about us? How do we navigate welcoming in new people? What kind of games are we playing on the platform? All of those questions should be in our head, realizing the demographics, the 65% male base. What does it say to you as a digital marketing expert, professional, when you see a stat like that?
It's a little shocking. I think because the main statistics that there's more females in the United States, at least, than males.
Sure.
But to me, that shows that you can really niche down. And we talked about this offline. Niching down basically means find your little rabbit hole that is a very small percentage of the overall population. But if you can grab that small percentage, it might be 0.2% that people might actually find your channel because you're doing a certain thing. But if you can grab the majority of that 0.2%, you probably will be successful.
Yeah.
Um, I can compare it to the marketing world that I'm in. We call it niching down when you only target certain types of companies. So, for example, I have the ability to target and help contractors, which are home remodelers, plumbers, electricians, glass repair, all kinds of people. Well, I stick in the glass repair niche because I can go to a glass repair guy and I can say, I am the expert in helping glass repair guys across the country. Not, I'm a marketer, I help everyone. They're going to see me as 100% more valuable than just a traditional marketer because I've been in that space. I know that space. I have the statistics in that space.
Mm-hmm.
You can do that in Twitch. You just kind of have to find those people and you have to learn how to find those people.
Yeah.
Make an effort to find those people.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people just don't think about niching down. They think, I'm going to sit down. I'm funny. I can game. People will navigate to me. And as you know, that is not the case.
It isn't. And, as a variety streamer, when I hear niching down and when I hear honing in, my mind instantly jumps to, oh, am I only allowed to play one game? I don't really think that's what we're talking about. I think really more what we're doing is trying to understand and identify our own uniqueness and how to explain that and make that come across to a viewer regardless of the game that we're playing so that we can capitalize on our little community and our little corner. And I think it's such an interesting thing, this whole Twitch journey, that we have, like you talked about, no barriers to entry. Hardly any. Any and every age group, both genders, relatively little money truly to get invested, relative to what it would cost upfront to start, a brick and mortar store of some kind. Right. No official training. Like I think about my third side job being a basketball official. I have to get certification and licensure. I need years and years of experience. I need a load of equipment, which is similar to Twitch, but on top of all of those other things, it's a lot. You don't have that in this space as a content creator, as an influencer. And it's really interesting. It means that there are a lot of people saturating the market, and you really need to look at these numbers and understand them, and then really hone in on what it is about you that makes you different and separates you. And I think that really segues nicely into our second sort of topic that I really wanted to touch on. We wanted to touch on in this, which is, identifying and nailing down your why when it comes to being a content creator and as it relates to your success. I know for me personally, not only do I have a why, I'm also totally comfortable with that why changing. That's something I think is understated and sort of underappreciated. It's allowed to change. It's allowed to ebb and flow through time as you learn and as you grow as a person. When I started streaming on Twitch, I was on console, no microphone, or no camera, headset microphone, playing with my boys on Fortnite after work. My why was to actually start having video of not only some of the funny moments, but the sports guy in me, the former athlete, wanted to capture footage of our gameplay and then study it like tape. I wanted to go back and review it. What was my boy doing on this play? He was supposed to run a slant. He ran a streak. I threw a pick. I got killed. What the hell were you doing? That was sort of where I was. And it ebbed and flowed and changed. And now, at the time of recording this, I'm 13 days away from marriage. And now my why has turned into supporting my family, creating a lineage. This is something that Rita and I talk about a lot. How cool is it that unlike other times or like things about our parents, we're both only children, I'm going to have archived footage, hours and hours of it, more than my kids will ever want, of me in my late 20s, early 30s. What was my personality like? What was going on in the world and how did I come off? Like, was I having fun? What was I like as a person? That kind of stuff is now a part of my why. And to me, tying that back and making sure it's always in line with what I feel is successful on Twitch, being able to support my family, have fun. Like I said, I have the luxury of not needing to do it as a full-time job. Making sure that those two things are in alignment together is really key. And I think what is sort of a feedback loop, constantly checking in with my why helps me be a successful streamer. And then I'm a successful streamer. And then I have a different why, and it evolves, and it just sort of keeps going just like that.
Right. I think we need to say that your why, it can't really be wrong. But I think you really need to think deeply about it. Not just I'm trying to make money playing video games.
Yeah.
Because I think that's the initial why of everyone that even joins Twitch. Or YouTube gaming or Facebook gaming, whatever.
Right.
You want to try and make money.
If it's not the top thing, it's on the list. We're keeping it real. It's on the list for everybody who gets involved. If you put money into this to start to create content, at some point, if you ask deeply enough, you're going to be true to yourself and say that being able to pay back that income and then some is an important piece of the puzzle for everybody.
But there's got to be another reason, or else you're just going to get burnt out. If I started my business only searching for money, I wouldn't be where I am right now.
Yeah.
There's no chance, because you burn yourself out, because it takes so long, and I can't stress this enough. It takes so long and so much work to get where you want to be. It does. I used to work 100-hour weeks, both 50-hour weeks full time, 50-hour weeks on my business. That took 6 months of 100-hour weeks to even leave my other job.
Yeah.
That's probably a lot faster than a Twitch person would. But you kind of have to keep that in perspective. It takes an incredible amount of effort to really get to your why. And I think understanding why you're doing something keeps you from burnout.
Yeah.
I mean, that's huge. How many streamers have you seen that had burnout?
It feels like it's a weekly occurrence. If you are on social media platforms associated with content creators, whether that be Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, you're probably going to come across somebody who is experiencing burnout, some sort of mental health hurdle. It is a grind. It takes a toll on you, and it feels a lot like you need to sort of be in it, like you said, for a deeper reason than just the finances of it. And I think it also comes out in the way that you project yourself to other people. If you have a true understanding of what your why is, it allows you to be a little more genuine, a little more comfortable in your own skin. You're a little more intrinsically motivated and enthusiastic about doing what you're doing. You're not just on stream staring at your follower number or your sub count, trying to figure out if I can pay the bills this week, or am I ever going to make it, so on and so forth.
It's funny that you bring that up, because there was I'm not going to say their name, but there's a guy in Rissa's stream that came in, new guy. The first thing he said was, "Do you need new graphics? I can do your graphics for you."
Interesting. Hot take.
I think I think his mindset was correct in that he needed to network to find people that he can do graphics for.
Mm-hmm.
But when and I don't know the guy's situation. I don't know him at all. But when you're money central, you probably behave like that, even if you don't realize that you do.
Yeah. And it comes off. and
Yeah.
people can smell it,
It's
right?
too easy to figure out.
Yeah.
The first time I saw you and met you, I'm like, I know this dude is not in it for the money.
Yeah.
He's too nice.
He's too nice.
I'm being dead serious.
Yeah.
It comes across horribly.
Yeah.
And you can even relate that to a business or like a position in sales. If you're
Yeah.
only in sales to sell something, that customer is going to know it and they're not going to buy from you.
They're going to
I don't,
feel it. They're going to feel it from you.
I don't care how good of a salesman you are.
Yeah.
I think Wolf of Wall Street, while yes, in his subconscious, he's in it for the money, but he knows how to control that and build that relationship without only being in it for the money.
Yeah.
Provide some value.
Yeah.
He's all about the value. And I think you can definitely relate that to Twitch networking or Twitch streaming.
Yeah, and you know, it sort of ties in nicely to another thing we wanted to bring up. Making sure that that why of yours is in alignment not only with your goals, but your actions, right? And like you said, in that situation, if you're in it only for the money, if you've got that kind of level of desperation, even if we don't know his situation, it just rubs people the wrong way. And whether we like it or not, Twitch is a business of people. It is the people business. Entertainment, content creation, it is about making connections with others and finding common ground, friendships, everything. All business is relationships, right? That is what this is. It can be fickle, it can be difficult, but if one of the top things that sort of motivates you isn't intrinsic and in it for the right reasons, it's going to be difficult. You're going to experience burnout. You're going to have conflict with others, all sorts of drama and issues you'll run into.
Yeah. And I don't know if you want to talk about this on this episode, but in the teaser, I had mentioned the book 10X by Grant Cardone. You don't know who Grant Cardone is? He's before Jordan Belfort became famous because of that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Grant Cardone was the #1 sales leader in the world by a long shot. Now he's a real estate mogul. He's got a TV show or something too. Writes books. Anyways, he wrote a book called 10X. It's about goal setting, but you can actually transfer it over to value proposition. If you're not in it to provide 10 times the value to another person than you get, then you will not succeed. Everyone's focused on money, and people see money as value when it's not actually true. How can you actually help that other person in their stream, in their business, in their life? You talk about mental health. If you can help someone get over a hurdle, that is a ton of value. Like more value than you probably realize that you helped that person.
Yeah, and morally, it's just the right thing to do.
It is.
You know what I mean?
You're right.
Yeah.
But you've got to break some things down.
Yeah.
If I can't provide value to another business owner, they're not going to hire me.
Yeah.
And I think people don't, it's so easy to go back and forth between streams and chat about random things and not think about what you're actually projecting.
Yeah.
Is this dude in here just to try and steal my followers? Not that you can actually steal followers. That's another topic.
Right.
But it comes off. Your mindset needs to be find out my why. Why am I doing this? And how can I provide value to someone else?
Yeah. I think
times that you receive.
And I think if you stay sort of close to those two lines, you know, you will start to see more success. You will not only start to see more success, but you'll be fulfilled in the journey too. That's another piece of this. Friendships, relationships, fun. I mean, you know, we're playing video games and talking to people on the internet, hopefully for fun. Hopefully that's a layer of this. And you know, trying to figure out how to sort of enrich others' lives, your own life. That's all part of the journey and all a part of the fun of this whole piece.
Yeah. And if you can't have fun along the journey, that's another thing that leads to burnout.
Well,
So
and you started off by saying freedom. How many people would love to get out of the career that they're in because they don't enjoy the job that they do? Job satisfaction has to be one of the lower things. If you find a career and a occupation that you genuinely enjoy, that can be sometimes more valuable than the actual money that they pay you hourly to be at that job. Um, it can be up there as much as any of the other elements as why I need this job or why I like this job. Is that I have fun, it provides value for me, it enriches my life. That can be huge. And Twitch has a chance to do that too.
yeah, there was a statistic that I saw a couple of weeks ago that basically said 85% of people would take a pay cut if they could be better friends with their manager or if
Wow.
they reach out their manager because it makes their life so much better.
Wow. Yeah.
Uh, and that blew my mind. It blew my mind, but it also makes sense.
It does. It does make sense. And, obviously we led off with the stats about the unlikeliness of ever doing this full time. Um, Even if you never achieve a full time status, even if you are only able to ever reach a threshold where you can um, supplement some of your income with what you do on Twitch or break even, you're controlling your own hours. You're in charge of your own time. You make decisions on the content that you want to create. That's there's a lot of value there that we don't even really realize that we're able to get back from this whole journey that I think is really important.
Yeah, I, understanding understanding where value comes from is almost as most important as understanding your why.
Yeah,
Because if you can't see if you can't, maybe you're streaming for 5 viewers. If you can't understand the value that 5 people who might actually be chatting to you that you don't know in real life, they're giving up their time to be there.
absolutely.
That is, in my eyes, time is 100% money, but the most it's the most important thing in the world
I was going to say it's the most important resource that someone can give to you.
because you can't control time. That's the only thing you can't make back.
Yeah.
You can make money. I've known 50-year-olds who were broke their entire lives and became millionaires, and no, they didn't buy a lottery ticket. Um, but time is the only thing that you cannot manipulate. So if somebody's spending time with you on your stream, thank them.
Mhm.
Be very thankful because not only are you spending your time to stream, which yes, people should be thankful for that, but 5 people took time out of their day to spend 2 to 3 to 4 hours with you. That is huge. There's only 24 hours in a day. That's a lot.
And who knows what else they could be doing with that time. And they're choosing to give it to you. They could be streaming themselves. That's time that they're unless they're lurking or tabbing you up or whatever. But like, yeah, it's a really important commodity and you're not entitled to it from anyone. And if you're not grateful for every moment that people are in there and recognizing, not just grateful, not just saying thank you, but genuinely appreciating their time and energy, wanting to get to know them, I think that's really, really important. And I think that segues nicely into the final really big overarching theme that we wanted to talk about in terms of success on Twitch. We said early on, there are a million different ways to do this. There's no correct or right way to stream on Twitch, to create content on YouTube, any of these platforms. Personal opinion. I think unless you are an elite level gamer, unless you are professional, everybody who comes and sees you on Twitch most likely has some level of mastery of that game as well, is competent to some level at that game. And if all you're doing is staring at the game, not interacting with people, not consistently investing interest and time and energy to getting to know people, it's like this. I think we talk about mindset. I think people need to really take a good hard look and figure out, which hat are you wearing? Are you wearing the gamer hat or are you wearing a streamer hat? Those are two different hats. And they have two completely different connotations. They come with two completely different sets of things. We are, whether we like it or not, we're in the business of people, we're in the business of entertainment. We are trying to provide value for others, trying to give them any source of entertainment, escape, comedy, fear, whatever it is. And I don't really think that can be done at a high level if you don't invest some sort of time and energy into the entertainment side. I'm not talking you need flashy graphics. I'm not talking you need any of that stuff. But you need to have some level of dynamics to your stream. Whether it's your voice, whether it's alerts, whether it's the types of content you create and the games you play, you need to entertain people. And I see far too many streamers not take that part of it seriously, or at least haven't understood and developed their identity and figured out what exactly their stream's going to be all about, and have the wrong hat on, quite frankly.
Tell people why. Tell people how much you love Warzone and why you don't stream it.
Yeah, we talked about this offline, excuse me. If you've never been to my Twitch stream, I love Battle Royale style games. I have since the first time I ever hit the live button. Fortnite was my primary game forever, but if you follow Fortnite at all, it's had ups and downs, including many moments where the community was really not a fan of it, and its sort of viewership and player base has ebbed and flowed. I've dabbled in Apex, I've dabbled in Warzone, I've dabbled in PUBG, touched pretty much any other Battle Royale style game possible. At one point, when Warzone first came out and was really popular, everybody and their brother was not only playing it, but wanted me to play it. And I like Warzone. I think Warzone is a great game. It's got some issues, but I think it's a really, really solid Battle Royale style game. Obviously, it's one of the most popular games on all of Twitch. My personal preference on how I run my stream, I like to be highly engaging. I love to invest my time and energy when you come to my stream, talking about you, understanding what's going on in your life. I like to remember details about you, whether it be your real name, whether it be, your gamer tag, whether it be something I scrolled upon on your social media feed and I committed to memory. I like to have music. I like to have sort of an ambiance. I can't do those things on Warzone. I love Warzone. And for me personally, for either my play style, the fact that I'm not a professional gamer at Warzone, whatever it may be, I remember watching my VODs and taking a good, hard, long look at myself and feeling like I wasn't able to be my best self while I played that game. Whether or not the gameplay was good, whether or not the production value was good, I personally was being very critical of myself and thought that that wasn't the best possible game for me and my community, and I had to stop streaming it.
I think, and this is not a Kimbro Plays promotional session, but I think that says a lot about how you treat Twitch.
It's not a Chick-fil-A sponsored session either. Some good, damn good lemonade though.
Should be. Because a lot of people think, why am I streaming to 1-2 viewers? Probably because people come into chat, they say what's up, and you give them a what's up, and then you wait for them to respond, and that's it. That's the end of the conversation.
Or it takes you 15 minutes to acknowledge that they even said hello.
Correct. It's about 15 seconds for first impression. You can't respond to them in 15 seconds. I shouldn't be playing that game. Now, in comparison to that, Riss streams Warzone. That's the only thing she's going to stream, probably. Our first-person shooters, Battle Royale type of games, Call of Duty. There are moments where if you're good enough, you can stop or hide or find a slow mo or something and catch up on chat. Now, is that as personable as your stream? No, it's not. But she's also good enough that people might come just to watch her play. and not necessarily only interact with her.
Yeah.
Now, when she started, she would completely stop playing because she might have been only streaming for 5 viewers and talk to them. She did more just chatting than Warzone, probably. I can't remember.
Yeah.
It delete all the VODs because of DMCA stuff, but that's a whole nother conversation. But what I'm saying is you've got to adapt to what the audience is bringing you. If the audience literally is there to watch you play Warzone, congratulations, because you must be unbelievably good.
Yeah. You're in a select few.
Yes. Do I go watch Tim the Tatman to watch him play Warzone? No. I watch him because he's hilarious.
I mean, he set records for failures at Fall Guys.
He was terrible at that game.
He is still.
That was the funny part.
Yeah.
He can't do anything in that game. He was terrible.
Yeah.
But he's also, I don't know if you've ever been to his stream, but the chat is insane. He can also pick out certain questions to answer. I don't know if you've seen the TikTok, but there was one guy who said, "I'm here. Why should I sub to you?" And he pushed his chair back and he did this stupid little eagle noise twice. It was ridiculous, but it was hilarious. Find something special. And I don't even know if he had that planned. He's good enough to say, just do something off the cuff. But if you have something to make somebody feel special, even if they say, I'm not going to sub, I'm just here because, I'm trying to find somebody new to hang out with and be friends with.
Mm-hmm.
How can you make them feel special?
Yeah. We talked about this offline. I'm giving away a trade secret here. Akimbro plays behind the scenes. A long time ago, I came across a quote, and it has stayed with me in my personal and professional lives forever. And hopefully, if you haven't heard this before, you can think about how it relates to you and maybe incorporate it for yourself as well. Much like the 10 times value by Grant Cardone. People will not always remember what you say, but they will always remember how you make them feel. And to me, that is incredibly powerful. You talked about Riss's stream. She's a wonderful Warzone streamer. She's supremely talented at the game. She's incredibly charismatic and funny in chat and in dead moments of the game. Riss makes you feel seen. Riss makes you feel appreciated for being there. I don't think that there's any reason on anybody's stream that you shouldn't be able to do that. And it takes a lot of time and energy. It takes a lot to be personable. I'm not saying you have to stand up and eagle call every time somebody comes into your chat like Tim, right? But sometimes it's just an effort issue. It's not an expertise issue. It's not a gimmick. You just need to have the desire, the want to be able to get to know other people and want their best interest in mind. And then I think that is what really sets the tone. And that's how you start to build a community and not only build it, but grow it. That kind of grassroots effort, that word of mouth carries. You start to develop a reputation that this person is a really good person. This person cares a lot about people. This person's community is kind and warm and welcoming. And again, plenty different ways to skin a cat. Sometimes people strive completely off of rage montages and have just over the top antics in their channel and stuff. There are a variety of different ways to do this. I'm specifically talking to somebody who maybe is struggling to find success, struggling to grow, saturated in a market where there's a lot of people doing what you're doing. A little bit of that talk about uniqueness doesn't necessarily have to come from some sort of, costume you wear like Dr. Disrespect. Sometimes that uniqueness is actually like on a personability level. It's the unique way that you interact with the people that come and spend their time with you. That to me sometimes can be the most important part.
And everyone has a different personality. So you are very personable. You love meeting people, love interviewing people as you do on 21 Questions.
Yeah.
Not everybody has that talent, but they have a different talent within their personality that can make people feel a certain way.
Yes.
I 100% believe that everybody can do this.
Yeah.
You just have to find it. You have to work at it, but you have to find it.
Yep.
If you looked when I started my business, and if you know me well, I'm not a huge fan of people in general. I did not want to sell things. But do you know how you make money? You have to sell things.
It's kind of it's kind of required, a part of the job.
It's kind of important to owning a business. So I had to figure it out. And I worked really, really, really hard at it to kind of find that little niche within my personality to relate to people.
Yeah.
And once I figured that out, it's when my business changed.
Yeah.
Completely. It completely changed. And I think that's the same way with Twitch. Because all you have to do is relate to people, but you have to find those types of people that you want to relate to.
Yeah.
Um, it could be people, everyone that comes to your community might just really love your tattoos. Okay, that brings them in. That's your relation there. Now you got to expand upon it.
Yeah.
Talk about it. There's just not a whole lot of relationship building aspects that I see on Twitch. Even some big streamers, like they're just not very personable or relatable, I guess.
Mhm. Yeah, it was so funny you bring that up because we talked a little bit about this. I kind of came up with this, and this is a theory I'm working on and it's in process. Okay, bear with me here. I see sort of Twitch partners as like a Major League Baseball team, Major League Baseball franchise, right? You know, you're wherever you are, especially if you're listening to this in the United States, right? You go to the game, the biggest, best players are there. It's the most elite level gameplay, right? It's the most talented baseball players in all of the world playing on this diamond that you come. You literally could do nothing else other than just put out the game, and people would show up. People would buy season tickets. They would want to buy merchandise of their favorite player, all of those things. If you're a Twitch affiliate, maybe not even affiliate yet, you're a AAA or a AA or a single A baseball team, right? You are playing the game, but it's not where the best players in the world are. It's not where the most elite facilities are, right? It's not the biggest, most beautiful stadium. So we got to have something else. When you think about it at your local level, my Twitch stream, we better have greeters at the front. I better have a mascot that wants to take pictures with every kid that comes in, right? I better have a $2 deal every Tuesday night on hot dogs at the concession stand. When we're done, you better be able to run the damn bases, all the kids, run the bases, signing autographs with all the players after the game. You need to have a little more substance, a little more access. You need to be able to sort of bring people in a little bit more to your circle, because most likely they're not there because the MVP of the league is playing on your team. They're most likely there because they feel at home. There's a sense of community. There's a lot of other fun activities that give them unprecedented access that you would never get at a Major League Baseball game, right? I like I said, it's a work in progress, this theory, but I definitely feel like there are a lot of parallels, and the way that we would run a Twitch business at a small level feels like we need to be creative in our promotion, in our on day of game enthusiasm and engagement with the fans. We got to do some more creative things so that we can better serve the people who are coming and spending their time and money with us.
And it can't just be gimmicks. I don't like that word, but I think that's the only way to say this. It can't just be a gimmick. It's got to be something that's well thought out.
Yeah.
Because just a gimmick, it's not going to make anybody feel a certain way.
Yeah.
Running the bases on a AA ball field after the pros just played makes a kid feel a certain way.
Yeah.
The amount of kids that have grown up to still adore AA or AAA baseball teams, it's a small few, but there are some that are just diehard fans.
And they have unique spaces in their hearts carved out for that team forever. They may go on and follow other people. They may go watch other Twitch streamers. They may sub to other people. But you know what? They have a warm feeling, and they may just come back in town someday and want to watch you. May want to pull up for the cheap seats and come hang out and reminisce, have a nostalgic moment, touch it, just touch base with that team and just see what's going on with them.
And it could be the type of person that just tabs you up for another viewer.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's pretty important. Even though you may not feel like, oh, they're not interacting with me, they're not doing this, they're not subbing, they're not doing that. That's an extra viewer, buddy.
Nate, we put a stat up here. As of March 2020, concurrent at any time of day, there are 56,000 live Twitch channels at any one moment. Someone chooses to tab you up. Yo, I feel like $1 million. There are so many other options. Not only, and we're just talking Twitch. That person could have a YouTube video up. That person could be scrolling on their phone on Twitter. They could be, obviously, any number of other things they could be doing. But they choose to tab you. You better make them feel special. I better shout them out. I better, run a raffle for them. I need to chuck out some emotes and appreciate them. I don't know what exactly it is, but I need that person to understand how important that action is to me, how much I value it, and how much I value them.
Right. And I think that segues into something else we wanted to talk about. We're not here to say, hey, you're streaming to 2 viewers, you better feel awesome. We're not saying that. We're saying you need to appreciate those people, but we also are here to show you how to kind of grow.
Yeah.
Build relationships, network, do other things besides stream.
Yep.
As you talked about as this segment, gamer versus streamer. Are you a streamer? Well, that doesn't mean you're streaming 7 days a week.
Yep.
It means you're streaming 3 days a week, 4 days a week, maybe. But I guess I said 75%, but you probably think a little bit higher. 75% of your time needs to be spent off stream, but still working on your stream.
One of the most important strategies, at least currently on Twitch, is finding out how to draw people into your Twitch channel when you're not live. Twitch does a poor job, especially when you're offline, of making your channel discoverable. And a lot of people think that the only way I'm going to be found is by being live on Twitch. Someone's going to stumble upon me. Someone's going to raid me. Someone's going to XYZ. There is a lot of value in being live and finding new followers and handling your business on stream live when they come into your channel. But there's just as much value, if not more, that you need to put in to the other aspects, right? Networking, identifying populations and connecting with other streamers, responding thoughtfully and genuinely to someone who comments on your Instagram post, right? Even if it's someone in your community, don't just hit that person's, I post a quick clip of me getting a sniper shot off. Somebody says, great shot. Don't just heart that Instagram comment. Find something meaningful to say back to them. You've been killing it. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I've had so much fun having you in the chat whenever you're able to make it. Thank you. It takes a little bit more than the bare minimum to have these relationships and to build them with people, and putting that time and energy into them. Enough of those interactions, people are going to give them back to you, and you'll develop those relationships.
I can't stress enough that one-on-one conversations are about 1 million times more valuable than a Twitch chat conversation. They just are. If you can give someone, and it doesn't just take one, you can DM 50 people at once.
Yeah.
Don't be annoying.
Yeah.
But really show your personality, take an interest in their life.
Yep.
And watch them come to your stream. Seriously, watch. They'll come. It may not be the next day. So don't hit them up and say, hey, did you watch my stream?
And don't shame them if they come 3 weeks later.
No. Be like, okay, I did my job networking. It's just going to take time to develop.
Yeah.
I do some stock trading. There's a phrase that's called patience, and that's PAY space shints, because it pays to wait
Hmm.
for a stock to go. I think that applies exactly to networking on Twitch.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen right away.
And those
Right.
relationships, we'll dive into it in future episodes. We talk a little bit about, the follow for follow, like for like, that kind of stuff. Anything that really truly grows and develops has some sort of strong roots. And if it's going to be done so quickly or abruptly or so superficially that the roots never get a chance to establish, they never get a chance to grow, they just topple over first big gust of wind, it's not something you want anyway. It's not going to be valuable to you. It's not going to be valuable to them. It's not really the type of community you should be looking to grow. It's not sustainable. It just isn't.
No. And that gets into more branding. How are you positioning yourself without using Twitch as your crutch? If Twitch goes bye-bye, do you still have a community? It's a different segment, but
It is. It's such a great question. It's such a great thing for all of us to think about as content creators. And we saw it a little bit in 2020 as Mixer died. People were left scrambling, trying to figure out what their next home was going to be and what the next chance was for them. I don't know the stats on how many, people were left hanging when Mixer died. I know a lot of them transferred over to Twitch. I'm sure a bunch went to YouTube and Facebook. But there's probably a lot who no longer pursue it. And it would be a shame if that were the case. I think at all times when we're building a community and trying to establish ourselves as a content creator, we should be thinking about, will my content survive this platform? Will my content survive this particular game? Will my content survive the day of week, the schedule that I've built? Are people there to watch me? Are people there to connect with me? Or are they only there to watch the game because the game is hot right now or because the platform is hot right now? Staying power is the ultimate long-term goal here. And if you're not sort of understanding your why, figuring out what your identity is as far as having the Twitch hat, which one you're kind of putting on and wearing whenever you go live, and then positioning yourself appropriately so that you can withstand any of that stuff. All important things that we're saying. We're not saying that there's one way to do it. Just gentle reminders. If you haven't touched in, haven't checked in with yourself, haven't, tried to figure out and identify where you stand on a lot of these things. That's the point of this first episode.
Here's and I didn't talk to you about this. First streamer pod challenge.
Okay.
Stream on Discord one night and not on Twitch and see how many people come. That will tell you exactly what your community thinks of you.
And how strong it is.
Correct.
It's a great test. It's a really good test.
You're not going to make any money. 100% you're not going to make any money. But to set yourself up in branding wise long term, that is a really good test.
Yeah. And a really good strategy too. A Discord community is pervasive across all of the platforms. It's not tied specifically to Twitch or to YouTube or TikTok or anything. It's a place where people who care about you and you care about them gather. And establishing that and building that out, to me, is one of the most important markers of a successful Twitch streamer, content creator, fill in the blank.
And it doesn't have to be Discord. I think Discord's probably the most popular just because you get a private server and you can do all kinds of things. Could be a Facebook group. Could be, I don't know. And I guess I don't know any other chat rooms.
Those are two good examples, though. Yeah.
Just find a place that more than likely is not going anywhere.
Yeah.
I can't really say that about Twitch. Mixer died.
2020 was not a very good year for Twitch when you look at it, when you zoom out and really examine it. YouTube Mixer died and YouTube took up, I think, a significantly larger share of the general population, the Mixer population. Facebook is always evolving and developing their platforms and their stuff. This is Stream ER podcast. It's not necessarily just Twitch. We both have familiarity on Twitch, but these rules and these concepts can apply to any of these. It can apply to someone who creates content on YouTube. I really hope that in time, all of these episodes are applicable to multiple different, varieties of entertainment and thoughts as far as it relates to streaming or creating content, and surviving any and all of them because you're stable enough any and everywhere else is really key.
Yeah. And I don't know if you guys follow Harris Heller or not, but he just had a video about branding. It might have been a couple months ago, but I just watched it. So it's new to me. Branding, kind of like the Discord challenge, it is super important to understand that your goal eventually is to be an influencer, because you're influencing your community. And I know people hate that word because of Kardashian, Jenner, whatever.
Yeah, it's got a negative connotation, but I don't think that's fair.
It's truly what it is, because that's really where the money comes. If you're really looking to be like a full-time income, you have to give recommendations to your community and they have to follow through with them.
And that is by definition influence.
That's literally, yeah, definition of influence. You see stories all the time about this girl has 1 million followers on Instagram but can only sell 9 t-shirts. Doesn't have any influence.
Yeah.
Don't look at your Instagram followers for your influence. What's your engagement? Are you engaging? Or do you just look at the comments and love the comments that you get?
Yeah.
Or you all the likes that you get?
And you know what the biggest piece of that is? And I think it is sort of the term that I've recently come across from, as far as it being like a buzzword. It's something that I think we all sort of know inherently, but actually putting a label on it, it really speaks to the stability and growth of a community, your ability to become an influencer. Do you have audience trust? And can people rely on you in that way, whether it be a recommendation, whether it be to be a safe space or a fun space or whatever it is that you've sort of carved out for your identity? Can people trust you to be consistent and reliable in that particular venue that you've carved out? That to me is one of the most foundational pieces of success on any of these platforms. And I think it's something that we all should be looking to position ourselves in. Right? You started off by talking about finding a niche and kind of drilling down into that. A big piece of that is starting to develop audience trust and starting to have people follow you, believe in you, trust your content is good, trust that you are genuine and have their best interest in mind when they come to visit you. All of those things have to be in place in my mind in order for you to really have long-standing success across all these platforms.
Audience trust is huge. And I think piggybacking on that, stop comparing yourself to everyone else. You really understand your why. If you understand the value that you can bring, put your head down and work. Stop comparing yourself to the people that have 70 to 75 to 100 to 150 viewers or even more. Maybe you're comparing yourself to Nick Merckx and Tim the Tatman. That's dumb. What are you doing that for?
Yeah. Or anybody who's a common peer. I think it's human nature for us to social comparison theory, right? It's built in us to sort of look at those around us. It's a hard thing to fight off, but I think it's an important piece of understanding, having your why generated, being really in tune with it, and having it always within reach so that you can kind of use that as the anchor point, right? Because your numbers are going to ebb and flow. Your community is going to ebb and flow. Your enthusiasm and passion may wane for this entire process as it gets harder. You're going to have these highs and these lows. I think really, trying to figure out your why and sort of working really hard to avoid some of that comparison. Really, for me, figure out how to compare yourself if you have to compare, right? I'm just one of those people. I'm wired. I can't get away from it. I don't have another option. Don't look at anybody else. Look at yourself. Was I better than I was yesterday? Am I a better content creator than I was a month ago? Am I establishing myself in a way that I'm proud, that is in alignment with my why? Am I on track for my goals? And are my goals tied to things that I control, not just, goals that are talking about how many followers I want to have or how many subs I want to get? Goals that are tied directly to my own accountability for my own actions. Am I going to stream 10 times this month? Am I going to put up 3 YouTube videos this month? Things that are not only smart goals, measurable, attainable, timely, those things, the things that we learn about as far as a SMART goal, but really things that are tied directly to you and are tied directly to accountability of yourself to be able to fulfill those goals. Because the business of people, business in general, can be very fickle, and comparing yourself to others, relying on others to be able to get these numbers or to fulfill these numbers for you, it's a quick way to burn out. It's a quick way to find yourself very disappointed. It's not sustainable. It's going to be really hard.
Yeah. And that's huge with goals. We talked about this before. The people that usually set 2021 goals don't accomplish them because it's too long.
It's a long time.
If you're not Mark Cuban, and I don't know if Mark Cuban's the owner of the Dallas Mavericks, he's a multi-billionaire. You don't know who he is.
Shark Tank.
There you go. I'm so sports.
Well, I am too, but I was thinking about everybody else who's listening. I know that name, but I'd have no idea who the Dallas Mavericks are.
He's smart enough to set yearly goals because he's an anomaly. His mindset is ridiculous. The same with any billionaire, Mark Zuckerberg, whoever Bill Gates, whoever you want to pick. We are not that way. Unless you truly think you're going to be a billionaire, you can think that way. That's fine. But set weekly goals or daily goals. When I do stock trading, I have a daily goal. I want to make this percentage today. Can that always be controlled by me? Not necessarily, but you're in control of a lot more than you probably think you are. Getting more subs, yes, is a goal, but what's going to lead you to get more subs?
Mm-hmm.
Is it going to be multiple YouTube videos? Maybe one goes viral. You don't know that. I saw the very first YouTube video that Tim the Tap Man put out. It was terrible. It was so bad. His setup was awful. He said he grabbed the office chair that he sat in from the dumpster.
Oh my gosh.
He duct taped his webcam to the wall.
Legend.
I mean, that's just awesome to me because look where he is now.
Yeah. And when you talked about it earlier, you also mentioned, Tim didn't know what he was doing. He wasn't a very good streamer. It had nothing to do with his duct taped webcam. I mean, he just wasn't very good. And I think everybody goes on their own journey and will have their own path and will start to develop all of these things for themselves. But it's also okay to sort of change and grow and develop and allow yourself to do that. So it's okay to take risks with your content. It's okay to, try out different things and test different things. This is about having fun. This is about having a passion for it. And I think oftentimes analysis paralysis is something we've talked about. As a content creator, as a business, sometimes you lock yourself into over analyzing and then don't make decisions that would ultimately be good for your business or for your long-term growth. And that to me is something hopefully collectively we can all work to get out of, because at the end of the day, it is for fun. It can be for fun. Obviously for some, it has to be a business, but it can also be a fun business at the same time. And, I really feel like people getting out of their own way and generating content that is just what they want to make. They're not stopping themselves from pushing the button, whether it be the post, the go live, And just try stuff out and see how it feels.
The one thing I got from that, from what you just said, is that it's risk. It's a risk. People forget that starting a business is a risk. Whether you believe it or not, starting a Twitch stream is a business. It's a risk. So you might have to put a little bit of money into it without getting anything back for 1 or 2 or maybe 3 years. It just depends. It depends how hard you work at it. It depends how much you understand the networking part of it, the relationship building part of it, how much maybe your full-time job has prepared you for that. But it is a risk. This is not a guarantee of will be successful.
Yeah.
Can only help so much.
Yeah. And we talked about this. A lot of times making it in any venue, in any venture, sometimes is about luck. Sometimes it's about opportunity.
Yep.
Sometimes it has nothing to do with how good you are, any fancy piece of equipment you have. And I think it kind of tying a bow on this nicely. I think the whole goal here is to unpack and identify, do I have the right mindset and am I positioned properly to capitalize on any opportunities that I have in the future? Whether that be I get rated by 4 people, I get a rate of 4 people, and I'm able to retain all 4 of those viewers for the remainder of my stream, and they all become followers and they get incorporated into my community. Something as small and seemingly, as minute as that, versus I have an opportunity and my video goes viral, right? My video goes viral. Am I well positioned on my platform to capitalize off of something like that? Is all of my stuff in alignment? Am I ready for the moment that I get an opportunity, if I'm fortunate enough that it comes? And hopefully, by talking through some of these scenarios and unpacking some of these ideas and shedding light on some of it, you position yourself appropriately so that you can at least be ready in case you get that opportunity.
And I think position is the right word because it's not just you're not just daydreaming about it. You could dream about having a 300 person raid
Yeah.
and what you might do. That probably not going to happen. I mean, you might get lucky, but it doesn't happen very often. So you need to do the things that are actually concrete to position yourself to be ready for attainable things or things that you predict probably can and will happen.
Yeah.
I think we've got in our notes mindset and positioning is 95% of the battle in business. And that's 100% true because it gets people stuck. People get stuck because they can't get out of their own way.
Yep.
It's just you've got to take actionable steps, build relationships, and move on. I think the biggest question in business that got me through is how do I take massive, imperfect action?
Hmm.
Don't stick, don't get stuck. Take action every single day. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's not going to be perfect. You're going to hate it probably when you post it eventually, anytime. That's just kind of the mindset we have on ourselves. But how do I take massive imperfect action?
Mm.
There's one story within my marketing community that if you did one thing for 30 days, you were basically guaranteed to make 2,500 or 5 grand. And people still won't do it because they can't get out of their own way.
Mm.
It was a 2-minute process daily on social media. All you had to do it was for 30 straight days. You couldn't miss a day. But a lot of people won't do it, and that can be both. That's bad for them, but it also can be good for you because you know that most people aren't going to do the work. So if you're the one who does the work,
Yeah.
chances are you're gonna succeed.
Yeah. I love that. I love that idea of taking, imperfect action. That to me is something that I think content creators maybe struggle with the most. Whether it's I don't have the knowledge, I don't have the mastery of how to do that. I don't know how to edit my own clips. I don't know how to post them, or I don't have a fancy animated graphic at the start of my video. My video won't be any good. Gosh, today when I streamed, I didn't get that awesome, sick trick shot. But I did capture a bunch of clips of me messing up, and they're kind of funny. But nah, I can only post my best moments. That's it. There's all sorts of things like that. To your point, bringing it back to the Twitch world, to the content creation world, where I don't think we take enough imperfect action. We don't embrace taking action in general, even if it's not right, even if it's not ready. Just find a way to get it out. Find a way to start making it. I've heard that advice a bunch of times with YouTube. Best way to grow on YouTube is post videos on YouTube. You know how many people are really, really ready to start posting videos on YouTube from day one? Nobody. No one is really ready. No one has their setup the way they want. No one has their graphic or their thumbnail perfect. Take the imperfect action step and do it, and continue to do it every day, because that'll position you, that'll give you the right mindset, and you can be successful that way.
Yeah. Hey, you don't need a DSLR to post on YouTube. Most people have phones. The phones nowadays with cameras,
Pretty solid.
good enough. Good enough.
Yep. Nate, I appreciate this time, brother. This was a super fun first episode. If you guys are just checking in, be sure to follow us on all social media. We're at Streamer Pod on every platform. A lot of fun stuff lined up. Nate, give us an idea of what else we can expect from the series.
Yeah, so we're going to hit this again. It should be pretty soon, but in an upcoming episode, we're going to be touching on taxes. And taxes seem to be a question that a lot of streamers, that at least that and that I know, with. And of course, nobody wants to pay taxes. But do you know how to save yourself money from it? I've got a guy who does taxes for Google, which is quite the gig. But he's one of my good friends, so he's gonna come on and he's gonna save you guys some money. But that should be pretty soon.
I love it. And, I think we're going to have some clips that we sort of record. We're going to have some tweets, some daily thoughts. We're going to continue to post content in between these podcast episodes. And we're always available if you have questions. That's something I want to make sure that everybody understands, is if you ever need to get a hold of us on any of those platforms, don't hesitate to reach out. If you've got ideas for future episodes, things that you'd like for us to research and unpack and sort of examine, certainly let us know. I'd love to sort of talk through any of those things with everybody. And just, we appreciate you taking some time to listen to us and hang out with us. It's really important. We talked about it. Time's the most valuable commodity that anybody has. And if you made it all the way this far into the pod, you are a real one, an OG. An OG. We've joked a little bit about this. We've been trying to come up with a tagline and not be cheesy about it. But, I think as we've sort of discussed, Nate, and we've kind of walked through everything that we're sort of planning to talk about and the things we've sort of debriefed, I think it's really important that if we plan better, we'll create better. And that, I think, is going to be our send-off slogan for all of these episodes. The more prepared you are, the better you'll be able to execute. So don't forget, y'all, plan better, create better. All right. Until next time. Peace.